Alright guys, welcome back to another Good Labs video. Today, I am very excited for this video. Specifically for the reason being, I actually struggle with ball position a lot. Typically, my ball position kind of varies. Sometimes it gets too far back in my stance. Today we're gonna get that dialed in with each and every single club. Grant, what are we gonna be doing in today's video?
Yeah, so we are gonna show you exactly where the ball should be on your pitching wedge through your driver. And we're gonna have two alignment sticks down, and it's gonna show exactly where it is in Garrett's stance. He's gonna run up the list. We're gonna talk about the pitching wedge. We're gonna let him run all the way through, and then we're gonna really dive into the driver and where exactly the ball should be in relationship to your stance, because if you guys can get ball position correct, it will set you up for some success.
Guys, before we go on with the rest of today's Good Labs video, if you want to hit that subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. We are giving you guys free golf instruction on every single part of the golf game. Obviously, we don't have it all on the channel out yet, but lots more coming, so stay tuned, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Let's get on with the rest of today's video.
All right guys, here we go. We're gonna start with the pitching wedge here. Let's take a look at where exactly the ball should be in your stance.
Before you guys are checking your ball position, do what we have right here, guys. Put an alignment stick where you're aiming, and then an alignment stick perpendicular to that to really be able to tell where your ball position is.
Okay. That alignment stick that's running perpendicular here, that's gonna show exactly where the ball is, because he's gonna line that with the ball. For a pitching wedge, there's not an exact position it should be in. There's kind of like a rule that everybody follows, and that is for a pitching wedge starting out, it should be almost to the middle of your stance. So that looks about middle, maybe slightly back, just about middle of your stance. That's about where the pitching wedge should be. And then as he moves on to higher clubs, you're gonna notice his position, his ball position is gonna start to move forward with every club. That is so good. Let's move on to the 9-iron, and just really pay attention to how it just slightly moves up until we get to the driver. Now 8-iron, here we go. You're not gonna notice much with the first three. It's very, very small. Good. All right, so 7, I would say, I think we can both agree that a 7-iron is gonna be slightly ahead of center.
Yeah, just a little bit. 8-iron and 9-iron were a little ahead of center as well, but you're gonna start to see a difference right here.
7-iron to me is the one where you start to notice it.
I mean, you can tell it's just a little bit more forward than that.
Swing is looking really solid, guys. His swing right now is almost like a fundamentally perfect swing, a swing you want to copy, so it's good to have him hitting the balls.
6-iron's where we're really gonna start to notice here. Let's get a little more forward. This is kind of a side note, but it is really cool for me with these labs, because coming out here, I get to get a lot of practice in as well. Because with these tips, I'm also learning. My ball position sometimes gets pretty off, and this drill right here particularly is a really good way to check where your ball position is.
You cannot actually tell when you're over the ball where it is. You might think it's in a certain position, but until you either have someone looking at it face on or these alignment sticks, you're not really gonna know exactly where it's at. Really good. All right, now 4-iron. It's gonna be pretty far forward.
So one thing that I do, and I think this is pretty universal, is the further up you go in clubs, your stance also gets a tiny bit wider.
Right.
And once you get to your driver, you're gonna be a little bit more wide, so you can create a little bit more turn and speed.
Right. Also guys, ball position may change depending on the shot you're trying to hit. If you're trying to hit a lower one and keep it down, you may move it back slightly just to keep the flight down. But there's some people like Dustin Johnson out there that actually always keeps it more forward in his stance and can still hit it low. It all depends. But if I'm hitting a lower shot, I like to move it back in my stance, so it doesn't always follow this exact rule. But these are just for standard height shots. That's gonna be the longest iron that Garrett has. When you move it forward like that, you're shallowing out your attack angle. So when you have a long iron like this, we're not taking a huge divot. We're just sweeping. That's how you hit those high, towering long irons, because long irons are the toughest. We're gonna do a whole video on hitting long irons, but a key to hitting long irons good is all ball position.
And I wanna talk about this real quick. So if you guys watch the pro golfers live, you'll notice one thing that a lot of them have in common is they actually try and penetrate their wedge shots, hit them a little lower, and then when they have long irons, they try and hit them high and land them soft.
Right, and that has a lot to do with ball position.
It has a lot to do with ball position, and shallowing out the club as well.
He's gonna hit his hybrid quick. That's gonna be pretty close to the forehand, just a little bit more forward. That is absolutely perfect height. That one's super high, and when that ball lands, it's gonna have a lot of spin just because he has it nice and moved forward in his stance. A lot of people struggle with hitting 3-woods off the deck and stuff. That's a lot to do with their ball position most of the time. Gotta have it, make sure you have that ball position a little bit more forward so you can get it high up in the air. All right, here we go. This is the one. This is the biggest one right here, is the driver, because there's a rule that everybody seems to follow when creating ball position for a driver, and I'll show you what that is. Garrett is gonna want his left heel right here. So this part of his heel right here should align with the ball. This part of his heel should align with the ball, the back part of the heel here. And you'll notice that. That's so when he gets to impact, he's hitting up on the ball with the driver, because the driver, you want to be hitting up on it. One quick side note, the driver is the only club in the bag that you want to be trying to hit up on. Irons are the ones you want to hit down on. Well, that's going to be future video once again. A lot of future videos coming up, but that's a little sneak peek into the difference between your irons versus something like your driver. You want to be hitting up on it. All right, guys, we're going to come down here. We're going to hit about 2 more drivers. We can't get that tee in the mat, so we're going to show you with this white line here. This will do the same purpose. That is the exact ball position, guys, you want with that driver. Perfect. This is just kind of a quick video, not going real in depth on it, but we just want to show you where we think your ball position should be for all your clubs.
This is kind of like a standard rule of thumb for most golfers. Obviously, it's not one size fits all, as you said.
Right.
Dustin Johnson typically has the ball a little more forward in his stance. I know there's golfers that typically have it a little more backward in the stance just because of the way their swing is and where they shallow out the club.
Right, at different points.
Yeah, but everyone's different. However, this is a very standard rule of thumb for where ball positions should be. So.
Right, that's the thing overall with golf instruction too, is there's always going to be varying different opinions, different thoughts on everything, but there are fundamentals and kind of like rules that most of the golf world does follow. So
yeah, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this Good Good Labs video. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, be sure to do that. Turn on post notifications. Till next time, guys, y'all have a good one. Peace out.